Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is GeoSonics coming at you with a Atlantean deck profile. This is a new deck that's gonna be coming out. Let's see, do I have it here? Structure deck. This is a new deck that apparently came out in Japan, June 16th. Huh. When does it come out for the Americas? Ah, this October. There's a new deck that comes out this October, and it's a fun deck. It plays very similarly to Dark Worlds in many ways, and I'll explain many of the cards I have here. Some of these cards are very generic to find. Some of these are my own personal attacks. And let's just get started. Mooling Lace, the Elemental Lord. This is a card that is pretty awesome. It's like Dark Armed for waters. This card cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned from your hand by having exactly 5 water monsters in your graveyard. You run Divas and you run Foolish Burial. You have Surfaces and Treeborn. The amount of waters in your graveyard varies a lot, so getting 5 isn't too hard unless you just draw this guy late game. When this card is special summoned, discard 2 random cards from your opponent's hand. This is what makes this guy good. He can just pick 2 cards out of your opponent's hand like it's nothing. And you can only activate this once per turn, so you can't spam him with like compulses or anything. And if he leaves the field, you skip the battle phase of your next turn. So he kind of balances himself out to where he's not broken, and yet he's still very useful. That's why I only run him at 1, because of how circumstantial he is and how much of a dead draw he can be. But whenever you can get his effect off, he can turn the tides of a duel. Next we have Poseidra, the Atlantean dragon. Huh. Seems like there would, I don't know, it looks like there's something. I thought there was more words. You contribute 3 level 3 lower water monsters you control. Special summon this card from your hand or graveyard. So if you get this into the graveyard, you can keep spanning him out like Grapha. When this card is special summoned, it becomes a giant Trunade. If 3 or more cards were spell and traps were returned to their hand, monsters opponent lose 300 attack. So yeah, he pretty much just gives you free attacks. He gets rid of back row, and he's a 2800 beat stick, just like Mooling Lace, the Elemental Lord. So he's useful. I might bump him down to 1, seeing as you can just keep spamming the same one over and over again. But so far 2 has been working well enough for me. Next we have Atlantean Seahorseman. Best comparison is that this guy is a Dark World Snow. That's the best comparison. Whenever he's on the field, level 3 or lower Sea Serpent type monsters you control can attack your opponent directly. That actually has come in handy once, to where it actually won me a game. It was pretty cool. When this card is sent to the graveyard to activate a water monster's effect, add to hand 1 Sea Serpent type monster from your deck except Seahorseman. So you use him and you get him sent to the graveyard by water monster's effect. I have some cards for that. I'll get to it later. And then you search out Diva. Then you search out more. Almost every card in this deck is Sea Serpent except for Abyss Soldier, Dragon Eyes, Treeborn, and Ice Edge. And so pretty much everything here is searchable. Even Mooling Lace, I believe. Yeah. But generally, I just get the Divas out just because this allows me to have more plays next turn. Next we have Marksman and Armsman. These guys are pretty much just one and the same, just a little different. When this card this is Marksman, level 3, 1400 attack. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can special summon from your deck 1 level 4 lower Sea Serpent type Atlantean monster, except Marksman. So you can just attack with this, get out Armsman, and then get an extra summon next turn using Armsman effect. You can get out a nice beat stick Atlantean squad, and it's just really good. Crap, power's going out a little. Oh well. When this card sent to the graveyard, to activate Water Monster's effect, target one set card your opponent controls and destroy that card. So you can it's set card, so it can be face down spells and traps, it can be face down monsters, it could be whatever your opponent has that's face down, and it's optional. So like, well, it's your opponent's control, so it will never backfire on you. You can just discard it away if you need to. Then we have Armsman, who's very similar but different. This guy is a double summoner. Whenever you summon him, you can normal summon one level 4 lower sea serpent. So you can just use him to summon another diva, and it still counts as a normal summon. So that's pretty useful, and then you just have an extra monster. And when discard sent to the graveyard to activate a water monster's effect, destroy one face-up card your opponent controls. See, it's very similar to Marksman, but it's an inverse of it. See, he has a shield, he has a little crossbow. They're different. So this guy can be a MST for continuous cards. He can destroy monsters. He's very useful. But for the most part, I use him to be summon fodder with Deep Sea Diva. I go Diva, summon this, and then get another card out of my hand, like Marksman, and then go for a level 7. And it's just really useful. Next we have Atlantean Squad and Spine Gilman. A lot of people just opt to run more Atlantean attack squads, but I decided to tech in one Spine Gilman. They both are very similar. They have this guy has 14 base attack and this guy has 13. And what they do, Atlantean Attack Squad raises his own attack by 1800 for each while you control a fish, sea serpent, or aqua monster other than this card, right? What Spine Gilman does is he raises the attack of all fish, sea serpent, and aqua type monsters you control by 400. So this guy, so whenever you summon Diva, you can search both of these guys out because they're both sea serpents. So you can summon Diva and choose whether you need one beat stick or if you need to just poke for damage and have a bunch of strong monsters that are a little bit stronger. And just running one of each makes it nice, balanced, and useful. Next, the most important card of the deck is Deep Sea Diva. It's a tour guide for the deck. It's a tuner. You can go for gachis with it, and it's just really useful. It searches out your marksmans, your armsmans, your attack squads, your gilmans. It puts in a lot of work and also helps out in making mooling laces or posidras, because it's water with that's under level 3, so you can summon this, summon armsman, use armsman to summon marksman, and then special summon posidra. That has happened, and you know, it's a useful thing to have, Deep Sea Diva. Next we have Abyss Soldier. This is the closest thing to a Brionac this deck will have. Notice I don't run one right now. I'm playing the new format with this. One day ahead, of course. Once per turn, you can discard one water monster. So you're using this guy's effect. You're sending you're sending your cards to the graveyard to activate a water monster's effect. So you're out there. He's a water, and you're discarding cards for his effect. So you can do that to target one card in field and return it to the hand. So you summon this, discard a Seahorseman. Boom, you get to search out a Sea Serpent. You discard a Marksman. You get to bounce a card and destroy a set card. You get to destroy a face-up and bounce a card, and then you still got an 1800 beat stick on the field. So he's just incredibly useful. Definitely run him at 3. Dragon Ice. This is an interesting card I found here on the end, just using the search for description. I think I just typed in like I don't even know what I typed in. I think I typed in like monster, water, and I kind of just went from there. And then I stumbled upon this guy. When your opponent special summons a monster, you can discard one card to special summon this card from your graveyard or hand. So he's like what's the card? Cyber Dinosaur, kind of sorta. There can only be one face-up Dragon Ice on the field. Dragon Ice monster. Is this an archetype? Okay, we're going off topic here. There can only be one Dragon Ice Monster. I don't know. I guess they're making more of these guys. But, you know, you can use him, discard. So, say your opponent special summons a card, you attack, they summon Tragodia, and then you go, discard my Armsman to special summon this, get rid of your monster thanks to Armsman, and then you have a free monster on the field. So that's 2200 defense and 1800 attack. He's not the strongest, but his defense is pretty useful. Next in my tech line, we have Treeborn Frog. This is, you run Foolish Burial, so getting him in the grave isn't the hardest thing in the world. You cannot search him with Deep Sea Diva, but he is useful nonetheless. You all know what he does. So how you play with Treeborn is you let him in, you put him in your grave. However, by special summoning him, you give up your chance to activate your Atlantean Roars, which is like a rekindling for this deck. This card makes the deck what it is. This card can give you so much advantage. However, Treeborn Frog makes it to where you can't get it all the time. So you just draw a phase, check if you have one of these in hand, and then you can choose whether or not you want to summon this or not. And he just provides tribute fodder for Poseidras. He protects your life points a little. He's just all around useful. And last but not least, we have Elemental Hero Ice Edge. He's really adorable. 2, he can become a direct attacker by discarding a card. That goes back to the Seahorseman, the Armsman, and the Armsman. You can discard those cards, get their effects, and then still attack directly, and then destroy a set spell or trap. So he's just pretty useful, and 800, that's not terrible for a direct attack. Next up, we have a spell, Atlantean Roar. This is the main card, like one of the main cards of the deck. This allows you to just swarm your field with Marksman, Armsmans, Spined Gilman. This is the reason I actually opted for Spined Gilman, just because you can activate this, make sure you have one of these out, and then all your monsters gain 400. That's more damage. If all of them attack directly, that's more damage than Atlantean Attack Squad would have given. And we also we also have Deep Sea Divas. You can summon those out and make synchros. It's just an extremely useful card. Generally, you want to do this. You want this to go ahead and die by destruction. You want to chain this to an MST, because if you activate this on your turn, you can't special summon anything. You don't want to do that. You want to use this. Oh my god. You want to use this on your opponent's turn when they MST it, whenever they're about to go like some weird play. You can just chain this and defend your life points. You can stop their plays, maybe, if you can pump out enough monsters for it. 3 is a little too much for me, so I just run 2. If it was as open as Rekindling is, I would definitely run 3, but you have to target 3, exactly 3 level 3 or lower Sea Serpent monsters in your graveyard. And there is a minus that you cannot special summon other monsters during the turn you activate this card. So it's not as good as Rekindling, but it is very similar and does the same job. It's also quick play, so use it on your opponent's turn. Staples, we have Monster Reborn, Dark Hole, Heavy Storm, Double MST, Book of Moon, Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial is used to get your Treeborns to grave. It's used to get your Poseidras. It's used to get that extra water you need for Mooling Glace. It's just really useful. You can even put a Dragon Ice in grave if you feel like it. Salvages, I don't run surfaces. Atlantean Roar is a surface on steroids. However, Salvage is useful. You can use it to get back your Divas. You can use it to bring back Seahorsemen, Armsmen, and Marksmen for discard fodder. And it's just really useful. Now we have Traps. I have 1 Starlight Road, which surprisingly this card is incredibly useful. You swarm your field out. Usually by the end of your first turn you have at least 2 monsters on the field and 2 back row. So this card can just be used to protect everything, make sure you don't get Darkhold or Heavy Stormed. You only really need 1 because extra deck space is a little tight. So just 1 is good enough. Next, we have Double Torrential. As soon as the DN gets ready for the new ban list, I'm probably just switching these two out for Double Mirror Force. And last but not least, Double Spiritual Art Io. Spiritual Water Art Io. Tribute one water monster on your side of the field. It can be a Treeborn. It could be any one of these cards, but preferably it'd be a Treeborn. Look at your opponent's hand, select one card from it, and send that card to the graveyard. You can use this against Dark Worlds because it's send, not discard. You can use it to get rid of their power cards. You can use it to send their whatever monster they were about to send. You can use this to pick apart at plays that your opponent would have, and it's just an incredibly useful card. Definitely main it if you can. I haven't seen too many decks, Atlantean decks, run it, but I like it. I'm just going to skip to the extra deck. I run double Catastor just because Diva plays are very, very apparent in this deck, and there's no really other good level 5 synchro that's open synchro. I mean, there's that one Sea Serpent monster, but he's not that good. Like, he can make himself 3,000. Whoop-de-doo. This guy kills everything that isn't a dark. And you can run 2 of him. So, yeah. One guy Knight. This would be a Brownak, but it's getting banned. So, oh well. Next up, we have Gungnir, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. This card is super broken. Like, you can just go, boom, Diva, summon Armsman, summon Marksman, make Gungnir, and then, like, I don't know, salvage to get these two back to hand. You have your Marksman and your Armsman. And then you use this cast effect. Discard up to 2 cards to your graveyard to target the same number of cards, destroy those cards. So you get to destroy 2 cards from this. You're discarding these guys, so you get to destroy 2 more cards, and you can still attack for a direct 2,500. This card is broken. Like, I can easily imagine them banning this card, or at least limiting it to 1 next format, depending on how this deck does. Next, we have some generic level 8, Scrap Dragon, Thought Ruler, Stardust. Stardust is usually for the Starlight Road. And a Mistworm, just because you can make almost any kind of level with this deck. You Divas, you have so many searches, so you want to run at least one of everything, which I've tried to do. Exceeds, you really only need Gachi Gachi and Leviathan. Thing about Leviathan Dragon, it does count towards a water monster's effect. So you can overlay 2 Marksmen and send them both for Leviathan Dragon, and it'll count as you sending for their effect. So you can get the pluses off of that. And Zen Mains is just a Zen Mains. Everybody should run it. My side deck, I kind of just tossed together based on what I know this deck struggles with. This deck has a horrible matchup with Dark Worlds. So Shadow Imprisonings and Royal Decrees for their... to get rid of their monster effects and to get rid of their, whatchamacallit, Recklesses, to get rid of their Deck Devies and Eradicators. Because, let's see, these guys, all of these, and Treeborn and Ice Edge are all susceptible to Deck Devastation Virus. Yeah. Next up, Imperial Iron Wall, just for any remove from play. Triple Puzzle Planet. This deck has a horrible hero matchup just because Absolute Zero is a thing. System Down just for the random machine matchup I might face. And Wave Motion Cannon for any kind of final countdown, burn deck kind of thing. I can just burn them for 1,000. And they generally don't run any kind of destruction for this. Alright guys, that's the deck. I'll see you guys later. I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you found this any kind of informative. I tried to explain things as best as I could. If I didn't make anything clear, or if you need to know anything else, just write in the comments. This is a very early build. I had originally net decked a profile from Bus Flare, his name. I forgot what his name was, but then I just expanded on it. I understand Mermails are very good with Atlanteans, but I just haven't gotten around to figuring that stuff out. I'll get to that later. For now, I just want to have a deck that I can build right out of the structure deck after finding some new additions. So yeah, that's the deck, you guys. Comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.